we built the car to do kind of like no time kind of grudge racing, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to bet somebody $10,000 that I can beat them. I just don't really want to. So I mean, we do kind of like smaller grudge races, but with the 3-pedal stuff, they post time, so that kind of kicked that out. So most people knew what we were running when the first time we ran. The car originally had a 468 in it, and 3 years ago we put a 505 in it. Had probably ballpark 700 to 750 horsepower. It ran, best it ever ran was a 558 at I think 121 miles an hour. We ran a lot of the Southern Outlaw gasser. We ran their hot rod revival, and then last year we ran 2 events with the 3-pedal gasser guys. Got out, ran a lot, and towards the end of the season when we raced at that Ware Shoals race, which I think was like the first official event of the 3-pedal, the motor was pretty much all but coming apart at that point in time. We had think we broke a ring at that point in time, had quite a bit of blow by. We were doing everything we could to keep the oil in the motor and not coming out at it smoked, I think, just about every pass we made. So we kind of knew that was the end of it, and we pushed it pretty hard at that race just because there was no going back. The last burnout I did, I think, was almost a half track, but it was what it was.
It was building up so much pressure in the motor. It was just blowing it all out of everywhere it could. We had rags laid across the back with a bungee cord over them, and I'd have to change them between rounds.
It was a mess, but I mean, it was what it was. We were just trying to kind of wanted to be supportive of the first race, so we were trying to kind of do what we could to get through that race. The car was probably 3/10 off of what it should have, the quickest it's ever ran. So in the off season, we started with, it kind of went through a couple iterations of let's rebuild the 505. And then we kind of figured out that wasn't possible because it had been bored so many times, and that motor was older than I was.
Yeah.
So it was definitely time. So we were going to build a 570, which with our input, like our heads and intake and all that stuff on it, and would have probably given us another, maybe 100, 150 horsepower probably. And then we kind of started asking some questions about building the 632. So we bought the block, was going to originally put all of our heads and stuff on it, and it would have been a good bit stronger than what we had, but it kind of snowballed into new heads, new intake, new pretty much everything. So now the car, the way it sits today, it hasn't been down the track or anything. The motor's only been in the car for 2 days. So it's a 632, should have anywhere between 1,000 to 1,100 horsepower. Hopefully trying to run with some of the faster guys in the Nostalgia Modified class of the 3-pedal this year. I know they do kind of more of a bracket format, but definitely should be one of the faster cars there. Hot Rod Revival should, the way their format's set up, it's basically kind of lowest ET is the fastest, so definitely try to go after that as well this year.
I got to throw one thing out. Mark Newton, if it hadn't been for Mark Newton, this motor wouldn't exist. But he's helped me and done stuff for me, and he set this car up, and I had to give him a lot of credit for a lot of this stuff. If I got a problem, I just pull up there and ask him. He don't mind telling you.
Yeah, he's definitely helped us a lot with a knowledge base for sure. And then, obviously he built the engine that's in it. So we're pretty much, we're powered by Mark at this point in time. I guess some of the things I like about it is it seems pretty organized. I've raced in some in the past where you don't really know when you're supposed to go, where you're supposed to be, and what really the format of it is. But I think especially for the first time out last year, for the first race, I thought it was really organized. I don't think there was really a whole lot of hiccups that I could see. I don't know what was going on behind the works, but it seemed really worked really well for me. I like the fact that David gives us an opportunity to run with the gassers, and kind of also have a chance to put our names out there as well. Because I mean, I know at the end of the day, the gassers are the main attraction. I mean, it's a gasser race, so I understand that we're not necessarily a sideshow, but we're not the main attraction. So to put the time and effort into having a format for us, I'm definitely appreciative of that.
David impressed me. I think we hooked up on Facebook. Just wanted my input, try to get things started. And
yeah, I think the fact that he like asked people what they want, I think is nice.
And a lot of people that go to gas races want to see. They like seeing a little more stuff than just gassers, and that's what, like he said, it gives us opportunity to run our car in their group. And I guess one other thing I kind of made me think a lot of David is his youngest son was born how many?
23.
23 weeks. And it was kind of a touch and go for a long time, and David kind of supported us on that. I mean, it's kind of the way it is. It's more like a family thing. And I mean, everybody gets along. Didn't have no problem with nobody up there, and I enjoyed it.
I think the first race we had, there was kind of a little bit of back and forth as to how it would go as far as the full tree or pro tree or any of that. And I think the first one was kind of more of a full tree type deal. So it ended up being a lot of guys who bracket race every weekend, as long as you fit the 74 and a half or 74 and back qualifications. But I think moving it to the pro tree will give everybody a little bit of a better chance, because I mean, I don't ever run on a full tree, and I don't have a box set up to help me kind of dial that in to cut some really good lights. So I think with it running running pro tree, I think it kind of gives a little bit more of an even playing field for everybody. So I was kind of basically out there running last year at the Ware Shoals race, just kind of hoping and praying that we could make it a few rounds and I could cut some decent lights. But I think the car kind of failed me more than the lights did. But this year should definitely, I think this format should be really good, and I'm looking forward to running hopefully mostly all the races.
That's one thing I like about it is most of this stuff's gonna be kind of local. We're kind of budget racers. These long trips out of town is just too expensive to do that for us. Plus, he still works. I don't.
I think this year they're looking to have a kind of more of a four races in the schedule. So I know that we'll probably miss two, or one of them at Wilkesboro, but we're definitely looking forward to being at both races at Ware Shoals, kind of traveling just a little bit, but definitely looking forward to racing the entire series this year.